financial education is what separates those who are able to achieve financial success and build wealth versus those who just struggle financially and work in what's called the rat race and who just work until they die, right? Which is very unfortunate.
Your network is your net worth. Come listen to some of the most successful people I know share invaluable knowledge, stories, and advice in real estate, business, and beyond. This is Weiss Advice. Whether you want to take your business or personal life to the next level, look no further. Hello and welcome back to Weiss Advice. I'm your host, Yona Weiss, and thank you for being here again. I have a pleasure to have my friend Tim Kelly on the line with us today, Officer Tim Kelly. A little background about Tim. How you doing today, Tim?
Outstanding, Yona. I've been really excited to chat with you. I'm just thrilled and just honored to be a guest on your show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I will tell you a little bit about Tim. You know, he's a real estate investor. He's a syndicator, an educator, a best-selling author, public speaker, and he's a chief petty officer in the U.S. Navy. So we're going to have to talk about that because I don't even know what that is. And probably your listeners don't either, but it's very fascinating to me. You know, he's with a group called Active Duty Passive Income, ADPI. And so they are a partnership of active duty and reserved and retired off-commission officers in the military, various military agencies, and they are actively investing in real estate. And so you have built this incredible educational network around that as well. And, you know, I'm part of that. And I appreciate the chance to have been a part of that. So a little more about, he co-authored the #1 best-selling book with ADPI called Military House Hacking. So if you are in the military, you must check this book out. It is a must read. He a bachelor's degree in organizational management while on active duty. Okay, so impressive right there. He also is an active real estate investor and has been since an accidental house hack back in 2011. I mean, if you don't know what a house hack is, doesn't sound like what it is. It's not that bad. It's not an accident, anything like it. You're living in a house, right, and you're renting out another unit or something like that. So now he controls and or has directly been involved in over 1,000 income-producing units and looks forward to acquiring 5,000 more in the next 3 years. So you guys are killing it. You guys are crushing it out there. Not only in apartments, not only mobile home communities, self-storage. You guys, you know, you've had experience with single families and small multifamilies as well. You know, what haven't you done?
Oh, it's plenty. I haven't even, skimmed the surface yet, man. So many great ideas and I'd love to dive into whatever you want to chat about, man. Let's do this.
Awesome. So you've been in the military, in the Navy since?
Just over 14 years at this point.
Incredible. And you're stationed in Pensacola, Florida, right?
That's right. We love it down here. Gonna hang out here for a little while. We're right on the beach, on the Gulf, and it's just an amazing. We really like the energy, really like the vibe down here, and obviously the weather is beautiful. So, all
right. And so you're, obviously your full-time job is a naval officer, right? So what does that look like? What is your day-to-day? I mean, if you sum it up in a minute or two.
Yeah. So I'm a chief petty officer. So, in the military, you have an enlisted side and then you have an officer side. And for the Navy, I started enlisted. I was the wee little E1, the enlisted one that is really just swabbing decks and cleaning up and doing the dirtiest jobs, right? And then I kind of just blew through the ranks, and now I'm one of the senior enlisted leaders, a chief petty officer. Once you get to the E7, you're a senior enlisted, so you're a chief. And then there's a senior chief and a master chief. The officers are completely different. They're more of the more of the technical leaders and the pilots and commanders and stuff like that. So I actually came to Pensacola initially to be a water survival instructor. One of my many jobs in the Navy was a rescue swimmer, search and rescue swimmer. So I'm here because I love being a search and rescue swimmer, and I took orders to be a water survival instructor where I was teaching air crewmen, pilots, and if they get ejected from their aircraft, how not to die if they end up in the water, right? How to survive being in the water until they're rescued. But now I'm actually teaching pilots about engine systems and about leadership and about ethics and about, I love talking about mindset and professional development. I get to passionately share that with the pilot students who are going through their pilot pipeline. So that's kind of what I'm doing as my 9 to 5 right now. Luckily, I'm not in a deployable status, so I've been able to make a lot of growth in the businesses and buy a bunch of real estate and help educate people in ADPI. And so that's why I'm kind of sticking it out. I'm staying here for a while, and I'd like to just continue doing that.
That's awesome. And it gives you like you said, the ability to, while you're still have a full-time job and enjoy what you're doing, but have found, the opportunities to invest in real estate. You have partners, obviously, in doing that. Tell me a little bit about what that's like, having, partners. And I'm sure a lot of listeners here are thinking about investing in real estate or have invested in real estate. And, they may be thinking about doing it on their own or versus with a team. And I know, you're out there in Pensacola and you invest all over the place, right? Not all over, but out of the state. And you have partners who are also stationed and located, elsewhere. So what's that dynamic like?
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a great question. And I mean, it depends. My first thought was where you are in your investing journey. If you're trying to figure out if it's even for you, you really have to establish your why. And you do that by realizing and just learning a little bit more about how real estate can create freedom, right? It can create abundance, can create wealth. It's one vehicle that could take you to that point. And so for me, it was, I was on a deployment back in 2014, and I just had a bunch of books that I took with me to read while I was on deployment floating in the middle of the water. And so the more I read about building wealth and personal finance, the more I came across this real estate investing idea that anybody could do it. All you have to do is just learn, network, add value, and take action. And that's what we preach in ADPI is regardless of what industry you're getting into, if you want to achieve a level of success, you learn while you network, while you add value, while you take action. And it's like, success is inevitable. So, I mean, for me, having your why and understanding that you can do it is really the foundation. And then just figuring out, continuing to learn, continuing to network and take action, you'll learn what it takes to do that. And you'll learn what niches kind of make sense for you and all the different ways you could generate income in real estate. And then, you do that until you pick one niche and you go really vertical instead of going horizontal across all the different ways. You pick one and go vertical and you become the expert at it. You know it really well, then you'll have a lot more confidence to be able to take action. Well, should I do this with a team or should I do this on my own? Most likely you'll be able to accomplish more with a team, especially if you're looking to do large and multifamily deals like we are. It is a team sport. So just, knowing what it takes and having the self-awareness of what you bring to the table is so, so, so important. And just having those skills, that I talked about. One of my favorite books, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, one of the, most game-changing, revolutionary books ever, is just being interested in other people, being able to communicate well with other people is huge. And having the basic understanding and basic skills necessary to integrate well with the team and to lead people. So that's kind of what my thoughts are on that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very eye-opening, for someone, and obviously being in the military and having been able to climb through the ranks that you have takes a tremendous amount of discipline. And I think I'm just guessing because this is just from knowing you a little bit that, I think that's probably the mindset and the discipline is probably one of, kind of the self-mastery in those areas is probably one of your biggest strengths.
100%. And that's why we love what we do. We're very niche down. Obviously, we're military, which is 1% of the nation. And then we're the 1% of the 1% because we know if you have this growth, abundance mindset, and if you want to create freedom and add value to other people's lives and change the world, you're 1%. So if you're in the military, you're 1% of the 1%. And it's a very, very specific niche of people who are military minded. And like you said, we are taught and literally embedded in our DNA to work our butts off, to have humility, teamwork, leadership. We're very gritty, disciplined, and we take these characteristics and they translate very, very well into business and into real estate. And that's why we love working with the military mindset, because the military, basically, being in the military, being at certain commands in the military will make you or break you, right? Mm-hmm. It's either going to be for you or it's not. You either grow with it and you kind of ride the wave and get all these characteristics, or it's like, oh, this is not for me. I don't want to be disciplined. I don't want to do this. I want to go be comfortable and do my own thing. So those who are staying in the military for a while and see success in the military, it's very, very evident that they could do very well in business and in real estate investing specifically.
Yeah, you guys have given the tools to a lot of people, like that book you guys about house hacking, military house hacking, that there's so many benefits and resources that the government gives to military or veterans. And you guys have written it up. You've kind of taken a lot of, the edge off of trying to do it on your own for so many people. So again, if anyone listening here is in the military or is a veteran, you got to look, don't be the 99%. Check out these guys and, join up to the 1% so it can start growing also. Cause you guys got to start taking over a little more, come on, we got to expand. But you also have another book called The Blueprint to Financial Success. Is that a recent work of yours?
Yeah. So look, guys, anybody can get both of these books for free on our website. You just go to ADP, activedutypassiveincome.com, and that is just one of the many free resources. And there's, one of the biggest reasons why this community was created, why kind of I've gravitated to this point, is because we understand there's no financial education, obviously, in our society, in our school system, in our educational system, right? And in our government. And so that really, the financial education is what separates those who are able to achieve financial success and build wealth versus those who just struggle financially and work in what's called the rat race and who just work until they die, right? Which is very unfortunate. And so the blueprint of financial success is literally just a step-by-step process in how to establish your financial foundation so you can get to the point where you could invest in real estate and start building wealth and leaving your legacy for your family. And both of those books right now are free on our website. We just want people's minds to be opened up so then they can grow and go take action and take advantage of that. And the other thing you mentioned, one of the biggest benefits that the military has is the VA loan. It's a 0% down loan, and you can get up to 4 units with a VA loan, live in 1 unit, rent out the other 3. Perfect, ideal house hack situation like we kind of grazed over a minute ago. And we have a VA loan mastery course that is free also on our website, kind of just to teach you. So you can go through the VA loan mastery course, read the blueprint to financial success, read military house hacking. You get all this inspiration, all this knowledge that sets you up to just start taking action. All that is free on our website, plus our podcast. Where we've interviewed people like Robert Kiyosaki, Garrett Sutton, Tom Wheelwright, Grant Cardone, Jocko Willink, you know what I mean? And you're right in that same lineup with all those individuals. So it's a really exciting community, and all these things are free, and we're just very passionate about educating other military members on how to achieve financial freedom.
100%. Unbelievable. So I think it's a good time right now, Tim, to just jump right into the final 4. Hey, before we get to the final 4, I just want to tell you about Streamlined Podcasts. Okay. I could not have a podcast if I didn't work with Streamlined Podcasts. As simple as that. These guys are my go-to. They do all the editing of these audio pieces that you guys are hearing. And I really couldn't do anything without it. I literally tried to start a podcast for about a year, and it was just daunting to me to spend time writing show notes, to do the audio recording, editing, taking out the ums, the ahs, the spaces, everything. These guys make it sound so crisp, so clear at such an affordable rate. And for my listeners and my listeners only, you're gonna be thrilled. If you're ever thinking of starting a podcast or you have a podcast, check them out at streamlinedpodcasts.com. Set up a time to speak with them and use promo code WEISS, WEISS, and you can get 20% off your first month if you do end up signing up with them. I guarantee you it's going to be worth your while. First question to you on the final 4 is, what was the worst job that you ever had?
I think, I had to think back, and I have no regrets. So it's not like I was like automatically thought of it, but it didn't take long to think about. I was working with a temp agency before I ended up joining the Navy or whatever, trying to figure out what I want to do. And I ended up getting a temp agency for basically working in a Home Depot corporate office where I was literally in a cubicle just learning all kinds of administrative and clerical work. Tell you what, I did not last long doing that. I was like, after literally like 2 weeks, I'm like, this is not for me. I'm not living this life. So if I had to choose one, it'd be that one.
All right, awesome. So right into the next one, and I agree with you on that. I would not like that type of work. Yeah. What was a book, if you can think of, that gave you a paradigm shift?
I mean, there's been dozens.
It's a real entrepreneur, just changing your mind all the time.
I have to mention Rich Dad Poor Dad as being one. I mean, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Many people call that Little Purple Bible, and because it's literally a revolutionary book that helps you understand, the people who find financial success and build wealth and financial freedom, what they teach their kids that those in the poor and middle class don't. Mm-hmm. And so that was really the spark that opened my mind up to like, okay, well, let me learn more about all the ways I can create that financial freedom. And that's what educated me. That's what kind of pushed me towards the real estate investing niche. So, I mean, there's been so many, I could talk about dozens of books that have been just game changing. That's just one of them.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree that was a book that made a big shifting in my mind as well and opened my mind up to a lot of different things. Incredible book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. What is a skill or talent that you would most like to learn?
This is kind of a tough one. There's a few that I feel that I have, that skills I have that as soon as I get to transition out of the Navy, which is here in November, because of real estate and businesses, I have been able to achieve financial freedom. So I'm able to just get out and separate from the Navy before I hit my 20-year mark. And so I can't wait to that point, because now I'm going to have time to venture off and do these things. I think the skill that I probably kind of learned a little bit about that I want to be able to get really good at is skydiving.
Really?
Yeah, I did one tandem skydive a couple years back, and it was thrilling. You're in a different world, you're in a different headspace, and there's nothing like it. I mean, I'm a scuba diver, and that is kind of like the same thing. You're in a completely different world, except you're in the bottom of the ocean instead of in the sky. But I mean, I did it once, and I've been thinking about doing it ever since. And there's a platform not too far from where I live right now in Panama City Beach, and I can't wait to just go over there. And you have to do so many jumps in order to do a solo skydive. So I think that's one. I mean, there's a couple other ones that I have an idea of, but that's probably one that I look forward to the most.
Very cool. And are you a pilot at all in the Navy as well, or you haven't gone?
No, I'm not. I'm not a pilot.
Okay, so going up in the sky, you're in the water most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Training. Yeah, absolutely. So now number 4, what does success mean to you?
This is easy. I believe success is directly correlated to the quality of your relationships.
So success is directly correlated to the quality of your relationships. So
most people think about money. Most people think about wealth. Most people think about tangible things. I correlate that to true fulfillment, right? And true fulfillment is when you identify the most important relationships to you, and you are so satisfied with those relationships, and it's always with other people. You can get to that point by adding more value to more people, by helping other people achieve what they want, helping other people achieve their goals. And you do that by being a forever student, by adding more value to yourself and just reading and mind feeding properly and having that success and growth mindset and just living that life. And all that is out there. Like, a lot of that content is free. I mean, you have the power to change your mindset into a success mindset by learning how other success people spend their time, what they invest in, how they define success, where they, go on vacation, all that stuff, just emulating that life. And then you just start living it, and then being able to be more of a giver and be able to give back to other people. And you can improve multiple facets of life by having that success mindset. So to me, I believe success is defined by the quality of your relationships.
100%. That's awesome. I am so happy that you took that route, because most of the people I interview on this show, it's somewhat related to monetary. A lot of people will say, I have the freedom to do whatever I want. And that's success. And, that's beautiful. And I agree with that as well. But the reason why I ask, what does success mean to you, is because it's different for everyone. And I love your answer, and I relate to it very much. So I appreciate you sharing the time with us today, Tim. Where can our listeners reach? I mean, you already mentioned before, right? Active duty passive income.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very active, just like Yona is on LinkedIn. You could find me at the Timothy Kelly on LinkedIn. I'm probably on LinkedIn more than any other platform. There's too many opportunities on LinkedIn not to be. I'm very active on Facebook, especially in our group. The group is Active Duty Passive Income. You can find me on there, just Tim Kelly on Facebook, and then Instagram at the Timothy Kelly. You can even go to my website, thetimothykelly.com. I have pretty much that stays updated, all my shenanigans that I'm involved in. I'm also in a band and we're gigging all the time in the area. So a lot of stuff is on all the different podcasts and interviews that I've been on. Bigger Pockets being one of them. It's probably the most listened to real estate investing podcast. If you ever heard of Bigger Pockets, I was a guest on that a couple of years ago to share my story. But then Active Duty Passive Income, I spend most of my time adding value to our multifamily mastermind because that's what I focus on is multifamily real estate. So I'm the director of multifamily education and I'm an executive partner at Active Duty Passive Income. So I spend most of my time building out and improving the multifamily academy and mastermind that we have. We had a phenomenal call yesterday. And I'm going to invite Yona, you to come talk to our mastermind members here. We could talk offline about that, but I can't wait to invite you back. You've already been on the podcast. I've personally interviewed for our multifamily academy, but I want to bring you and have you talk directly and do a kind of a live Q&A with our mastermind members here as soon as your schedule allows. So I look forward to talking about that too, man.
Sure. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I've been happy to do so. Absolutely. Well, Tim, the Timothy Kelly, it has been a tremendous pleasure to speak with you. It always is. And to give some value to our listeners today. And I hope everyone listens to this and takes some value. And if there's even one thing that you took out of this, I think we'll be grateful that you took the time to listen to this. And, until next time, just remember that the best advice only comes when you ask.
Absolutely, man. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. Ask more, get more. That's what it's all about. Keep growing, keep learning, be a forever student, and add value to other people, and success is inevitable.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tim. Real quick, I have one question for you. Did you like this episode? If you did, I want to ask you a huge favor. See, the biggest thing that helps this podcast grow and that will spread this message to the whole world is that if you leave a review, a rating, and subscribe to the podcast. What that does is it basically tells the platforms that this podcast is out on is that you like my stuff and I'm doing something right. So take a few seconds out of your day, hit that subscribe button, leave a rating or review. I would be extremely grateful. Also, I want to hear from you guys. So I want to hear some feedback. If you have any questions for future episodes, please find me on LinkedIn. Send me a DM, connection request, Yona Weiss, and I'd love to hear from you.